My name is Janell Amely, and my business is 3 Cat Max, where I make laser cut wooden puzzles and apparently glass puzzles and acrylic puzzles and just about anything that I can think of. How long have I been doing it? Officially since 2019.
How'd you start off?
So, I have an instructional design master's, and I was looking around for a project for teams of kids, middle school students in LA, to learn laser cutting. And I was like, I need to design something that is interesting to teach them laser cutting and a bit of Adobe to do the vector drawing. Mm-hmm. And I was visiting my parents, and we stopped at a coffee shop, and they had an artifact puzzle. And I had literally never seen anything cut like that. I'd never seen any laser, like, I saw the box and I was like, ooh, that's laser cut. And I picked it up and was like, this is so cool, because I'm from Utah, not the Northeast, right? Where everybody knows about this Victorian cut style. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'd never seen a wooden puzzle in my life. So I saw that and I was like, ooh, that's really cool. And I made it, my family do it, because we're drinking our coffee anyway. And so we did the puzzle, and it was just like, I think that I found the project that I want to do. So the project that I designed was a pairs project. The kids would sit across from each other with a piece of paper, and then they would draw like an outline. Because like, you don't have to do square, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they would draw the outline of, say, a cat. And then we put a timer on and be like, all right, everybody like draw your puzzle pieces into the shape. Like, you got 30 seconds, and then we rotate the paper. We'll rotate the paper out of the way, like, so each side is kind of really well mingled. Mm. And then when it's done, is like, all right, now take a picture and split the file, and you get to vectorize this side, and you get to vectorize this side. And then what was really cool is they could put the file together and add their own whimsies to the whole thing. So each person could have their own designed file. Wow. And then they'd laser cut that, and then they could, paint it or do whatever they wanted to do. So it was like, that was a really cool thing. And then my mentor was like, oh my God, I love puzzles. And I'm like, I had no idea. I had no idea that she was like totally into puzzles. And so she's like, can I commission you to make a puzzle for my dad's retirement? So I made, like, that's when I started the watercolor on wood, because I needed a way to make images.
Like these?
That's actually monoprint.
No, okay, sorry. Distraction.
Well, this is what?
Yeah, those are watercolors.
Okay.
The dragonflies are watercolor. And these guys, the sea turtles, those are watercolor. But I needed a way to do like an image. Mm-hmm. So I would call my watercolors like paint by number because I could score into the wood to like make the lines and then fill it in the paint, and it's watercolor, so if it sinks in, you don't see it. Ah. So yeah. So, and that's what happened, and then just started making puzzles.
Because when I first encountered your puzzles, it was your painted mirrored acrylic, mm-hmm. and I just fell in love instantly because they were so beautiful. How did you transition from wood to acrylic?
Well, I tend to be like really avant-garde, where I like way ahead of my time most of the time. So like when I first started a laser cutting business, it was like, what focus do I want to have? And it was like, well, jewelry, because like you can make some really cool acrylic jewelry. That was like 5 years before everybody started wearing acrylic jewelry. So I was like, well, this is kind of like, how do you market it when nobody's looking for it except for in Australia? So that's when I went to the puzzles with the acrylic. And then same problem. There weren't acrylic puzzles. So like I had a store on Etsy before Etsy sucked, and then I couldn't, like, I would sell some, but like, I mean, you remember you posted on Reddit, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for posting. So I sent you another puzzle. Because it was like, oh, that was really cool.
It just wasn't getting traction for some reason?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about marketing or using social media or like.
I see.
So now I've learned a lot more.
It's a big
unfortunately. So yeah, so I moved over to, basically I ran out of the mirror acrylic at the 2021 virtual Puzzle Parley. That's when I ran out, and I basically sold out during the virtual Puzzle Parley. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna go back into acrylic because it really stinks when you cut it. And it kind of stinks when you open it if you haven't let it air it out yet. And so I started doing more focused on the watercolor, because nobody's doing that. There's like acrylic painted and like dyed wood, like spray painted. There's Tom Spencer, he does the acrylic painting, and then Bell Art, Juliette Bell does stained colors, and Chris Yates does the spray paint. And so there's only like 4 or 5 puzzle cutting artists that do painting onto the wood. So it's a good niche.
That's cool. What is your favorite part of the process? What is your least favorite part of the process?
I can tell you my least favorite is digitizing the cut.
Oh, really?
Like, it takes so long to do a good job.
Do you start by hand then?
I started out just doing it with a pencil and paper and a lot of eraser. And then I got a tablet, and I started doing it with the tablet, but the problem is you can't tell size when you're on the tablet.
Oh, right.
Unless you have like grid, and then it would export into Inkscape, what I use for vectoring, at like a wildly different size, because the programs are not at the same pixel size setting.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, so I'm drawing this at 6 inches and it comes in at like 2, or like the opposite. What was the question?
Your
The
favorite
part I hate the most.
Yes.
favorite and the least part. Yeah.
Yeah, so that takes like, for this big of a puzzle, like 6x6, it takes like probably a week of editing, or like drawing and editing for the shapes.
Wow.
And it's just boring. I mean, it's a lot of computer time. And I try not to I do enough admin stuff, like with volunteering for the Parley and Puzzle Jam, that like I can get away from the computer anytime. That's good. And my favorite part is either the straight up coming up with some crazy new idea, like making glass puzzles, or monoprinting on puzzles, and then doing it, or just straight up production, where I've already got everything completely ironed out. That's why I like your projects, because it's like, okay, so now I know, I've got the design, I'm ready to go, it works perfectly, I've tested it a couple times, now I'm just gonna make 40 of them. And that's fun, because it's just moving meditation at that point.
Right.
Much like putting puzzles together.
Janelle makes these wrap gifts for me for each TV show I do, and it's themed to each TV show usually, if we can find a theme. Sometimes it's a stretch because there's no general theme throughout the rest. But
Was it a bird? One of them was a bird.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. And
It was a cute bird.
It was a cute bird. It came back at the end of the show, but I don't know if they kept it in. But and then there was but Star Trek was easy. Just do the chevron, duh.
Oh wait, and it had Picard's head in it.
Yeah.
That one was so gorgeous.
And the little Enterprise. It was so
Yeah, I know. And then what else?
Can't tell
little
what this
car. It was a car.
Yeah, for American Gigolo. But
And then
there
the last one was Mythic Quest with
That
the
was
sword. And
is. The Chinese takeout box.
Oh,
Yep.
that one.
That one.
Wait, that one. It's not out yet. But Interior Chinatown had one. I think that one was my favorite,
I
actually.
love that one.
And that was not even my design. I mean, the cut, yeah, but like,
I love
it
the
was
cut.
what, the logo?
I love the way
Yeah, it
that
was
cut
the
came
logo.
together.
Yeah.
But the cut was
It
great
went
too.
with it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it went with it really well.
Had little chopsticks in the takeaway container.
The sign, in fact, the top part of the building is just the way it's put together.
Yeah, and you made the sign was the gold. It was perfect.
Yeah, that was a new thing.
If you ever need Janelle to do specialized, like, party favors or anything like that,
Party favors.
she's the one to do it.
My favorite is still
If I have the time.
my favorite is still the one you did for our Worlds team.
Oh, yes.
For the trip we didn't go on. But
Yeah?
when we were putting it together, I was losing my mind.
Yes, she was. It was very high pitched.
I was squealing.
You were squeaking?
I was squeaking. Everybody's
Yes.
putting a puzzle, and then I was putting it together, and I was like just screaming in joy.
Because there's was it 6 at that time?
It was 6, and it was
6 different puzzle piece shaped, and each one was a puzzle itself. But all the 6 puzzle pieces fit together into a larger puzzle.
And they were the colored mirrored acrylic, so the color just ran all over the thing, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that color, and I was just in heaven.
Yeah, so I use alcohol ink to color the mirror acrylic. So don't use alcohol on it; it will take the color right off.
All right.
But I mean, why would you put alcohol on a puzzle?
I drink
You know.
all the time.
I mean, rubbing alcohol. I'm
Yeah,
not
I got
quite
it.
sure, like wine or something.
I mean, I guess
would
if
actually.
you spilled something on it
You had
and
to
you
clean it.
and you wanted to clean it,
Soap and water.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm keeping it very safe.
But for that one, I took because I had the squares. They were exactly 6-inch size squares that I had picked up at Piedmont Plastic or Piedmont. I'm not sure. I'm not from Georgia, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But they had a customer who came in and was like, I need 6-inch squares, like 50 pounds of them. They were putting them up on a wall, and they forgot to specify that they needed to be clean cut. So they were all like shattery edges
Oh.
because they were just rough cuts.
Right.
And so I happened to show up at the right time, and they're like, hey, these are going to the trash. Do you want them? And I'm like, I will figure out something to do with them. And that's kind of how the mirror puzzles came about. And so I don't want just plain silver puzzles because that's boring. So I tried the alcohol ink on it, and it makes them.
It does.
It almost makes them look like glass. I mean, this is cooler. It's got the weight compared to the plastic.
And the sound.
And it's way faster to make the acrylic puzzles than it is to make the glass puzzles.
Really? You posted about your process on making this, and I was just amazed at how much work
Intense
went
it
into it.
is. Yes. It takes, this is 16 pieces, 4 inches by 4 inches. It takes 5 hours to cut by hand.
5 hours.
5 hours to cut. And then it's actually fired twice and laser engraved. So take the dichro, cut it to shape, you know, like stained glass cutting, where you just like score and snap, and then put that in the laser and engrave the picture onto it. Because dichro is dichroic. It's, what was it, micron thin layers of metal that have been sprayed onto the glass, and then so the laser just like takes just a little tiny bit off the top, enough to get back to the glass underneath. And so I can make an image, and then I put a 4mm piece of clear glass on top of it, stick it in the kiln, do a full fuse, and then it comes out like a big coaster. And then I take the wet diamond bandsaw and just sit there for 5 hours and cut it out, and it gets all scratchy on the edges.
But right now,
So then I put it in the kiln again and do what is called a flame polish or fire polish, because it's in a kiln and not on a torch. It's a fire polish to make it all shiny again.
it's so smooth. It's so smooth. It's beautiful to handle. I love it.
Makes the great clinky noises.
And I mean, this is basically your invention. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Nobody else would think of it because it's way too time intensive.
It's a work of art. You made art.
It
with this,
is.
And it's
This
not
is
just
awesome.
visual art. It's tactile art and oral art, I guess. because-
Oral art. I like that. Yeah, my bachelor's is in sculpture. My master's in structural design. But so I started with the bachelor's was basically lamped work or torch worked glass. And then I just kind of picked up the fusing and stuff because you're buying like the same supplies, so why not?
The thing I've seen about this is a lot of dichro artists have always used very geometric, angular designs. and I love the curved designs in this, and it's
Ah.
touching a whole different part of my sensory experience. So I can't stop gushing over it.
It probably has to do with that score and snap.
That's probably why.
That's
it's
why
like,
you have the straight lines.
all the jewelry I've seen of it, all the hexes, it's always been rectangular, triangular, and I'm like, I want curves.
Yeah, I mean, glass is so sinuous. That's not the right word, but you get what I'm getting
flows,
at. Yes,
yeah.
especially when it's molten, it's like honey. So it's nice to kind of capture that movement, that and like all the reflections, like it makes it feel like it's moving.
You've got the movement.
And-
This piece looks like drips. It's like the flow of. It looks like the flow of liquid.
Yeah. I tried to make them interlocking, but it meant it damages the saw blade way too much to get it, like,
It interlocks well enough.
Yeah,
It stays
well
together.
enough.
Yeah.
Some of them not quite as well. I mean, I've only got 5 so far. I have 17 blanks in all that have already been fully fired and everything, but I was planning on doing it for the exchange, and I was like, this is so expensive, like, because like the Dichro, a sheet that's like this big, it's a curved sheet. It's like $20.
Wow.
And that's just the Dichro. That's the
Right.
expensive part, but then there's the clear glass on top, and yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that process. It gives me a whole new appreciation for this. Besides all the other things you have going on in your life, is that something interesting that you might want to share coming up?
All right, 2 things, just in case I forget.
Okay.
I'm telling you there's 2. The first one that is upcoming, the shortest time from now, is that Puzzle Jam South is the event. Puzzle Jam Incorporated is the nonprofit that Tara and I just started, right? And it's similar to Puzzle Parley. It's an event like this, but we're starting a membership, and it's, if you donate it's like $55 a year minimum, then you get access to puzzle and chat, just kind of hanging out, Zoom every month, and then we're going to do traveling puzzles because we're inspired by USA JPA, can't say that fast, with your guys' traveling programs, the P's. And so we're trying to continue building the puzzle community, but man, when I saw that you guys had so many members, I was just like, we need a membership. Like that, we really need that. And the whole, so we're doing a launch, and then we're gonna have these awesome personalized key fobs. So I'm gonna be, making a bunch of these key fobs and mailing them out with everybody's names on them, and I'm going to, of course, make reels of them, right? Of people's names get engraved, and make people excited about it. So that's the first thing, is that membership launch is happening, and it ends August 31st, like that whole personalized key fob thing. It's from the 25th, from now actually, to the 31st of July. So excited about that. And then after that, the second thing, because I didn't want to forget, it's already been put off long enough, is the cat Christmas advent calendar, right?
Yes.
It's
I'm
so
so
adorable.
excited about it. You keep talking about it every time
I
I see
know.
you, and I'm like, when is this coming out?
Why
I
haven't
want
you
it.
made it yet? Because it's this big, and I don't do big stuff. It is a lot of work. Remember the digitizing, the puzzle part?
You're very ambitious in your projects.
Too
It's not-
ambitious.
no,
I
it's
mean,
not
look
that-
at Puzzle Jam South. The entire thing is too ambitious. So with the cat advent calendar, one of my favorite cat artists, her name is Karen Gilmore. She has a comic that's called Quadra Cats. You'd probably love it.
Oh,
It's an online comic.
I don't think I've seen it. Okay.
It's based in Quadra Island, Victoria, that side of Canada. And it's about a space cat that comes down to the normal cats and and they call it Takeaway Planet because they come here for the food and they get the food to take away to the rest of the feline universe.
That's adorable.
It's amazing, and they're all these different types of cats, like Mercat Planet, and
All right, I'll check it out.
Anyway, so I was like, hey, can I commission you to make cat, I could do it. I don't want to. Like, I have so much other projects going on. Like, I can do the art, but like, it would be really cool if it was in your style. So I was like, okay, here's the cats, and like, here's a sketch of the layout, and like, fill it in. Like, these are the cats that I want in it, like my cats, and I've got your Milo. What are you? Maybe like, rest in peace.
Yeah. Noches is the new one.
Yeah. You need another black cat, huh?
Well, the kid picked him out.
Yeah. So and like a couple of other of my customers, they sent cat pictures to me, so I like put their cats in there. Like they have different, you know, the coloring, and then we've got the newest, you know, the intern's assistant and the intern are in there, and like yeah. So they're like all the cats in there. It's a full puzzle, but like each individual part is a cat. So there's 25 cats.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I need to puzzle it out. And I was starting and I designed it like this, where it's like really skinny pieces and stuff, but I wasn't going to put any whimsies in it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? People are going to be upset if I don't have whimsies in a Christmas puzzle, an Advent puzzle. So I was like, dang it. Now I need to kind of, yeah. Because I was totally, like, the plan was to, like, just jam it out in last week, but then I decided to have a sell for my newsletter people. So it was like, yeah, this is not going to happen.
You're taking on more than
So August.
All right.
That's August, like, to digitize and design and get it cut, and then marketing and selling marketing is September, marketing and selling in September, and then making, just straight up production in October and shipping in November. So it's
In
ready.
time for the Advent
We
season.
are planning to do an advent calendar episode.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, speaking of Advent calendar episodes. So I bought all of these bags like 2 or 3 years ago. So I've got like all of these velvet bags, like 500 or something of them, because I was going to put the puzzle pieces in those bags. They're too big.
Oh.
So I'm just like, I should just make packs of 25 and sell them. And like just the bags, and people can put their own puzzles in them and make their own advent calendars.
There are people who do that.
Yeah, I know. It was like,
It does. Yeah.
sell them at like, they're basically wholesale because that's what I bought them at. So it's like, I just need to get rid of them. Because I can't use them unless I sit there and literally like get a serger and shorten all the bags by like 2 inches.
Possible?
No, that would be miserable.
You just don't ever cut the
How many
thread.
hours would it
Don't
take?
cut the thread. Just have it. It's like
Yeah,
when
no, I know.
When people are doing the masks, you know, they will mask change. So
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. No, I figured I would get something else.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just the organza bags.
Okay.
And yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I want to make a really cute box.
Also,
That's like, you know, Christmas amazingness. What is this?
we have a little present for you for doing this with
I love unicorns, by the way. So you
Thank
guys,
you.
I love you guys. You're so cute.
Thank you for taking the time
Yeah.
and hanging out with us.
That is adorable. That is adorable too.
That's
I
my
wish
that's my
you-
child's seal. They designed it.
That is very amazing.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It was such a pleasure to be able to ask you about all this.
Yeah,
I could literally go on and on.
I love hearing it.
I know.
Like about
This is so-
monoprinting.
That's so
That's
cool.
the new thing
Yeah,
that
I
I'm
know.
super excited about.
Yes.
You know so much about all this stuff that I'm curious about. So it's like it's very
You should get your
fascinating.
kid a monoprinting. They're just gel squares, and you get like a brayer.
I
and you-
have no idea what all these things are.
A brayer is like a roller, but it's like a rubber.
Oh, I have
So you
one of
just
those.
roll. Yeah.
Yeah. I use it to
It's called a
catch.
brayer.
I didn't know that. Okay. I looked for a roller online
Yeah.
and I got one.
And so you like roll the ink on there, so there's not too much, not ink, just paint. It's just acrylic. And then you can take, that's leaves from my backyard. And you stick them on there, and then you can pull the paint off with like, you put paper on there and you can pull the paint off.
Why is it called
so
monoprinting?
It's because you only get one print out of it.
Oh.
And you don't normally put it on a puzzle, obviously.
Huh.
So like you do, like you put on, you take away, you put, like, you can use different mark making stuff. You could do your fingerprints if you wanted to. And then traditionally you put a piece of paper there and you like,
Okay.
there's a word for this. The rubbing.
I do.
Burnish.
Ah,
You burnish the paper in to make sure that
I see.
all the paint is really, because it's got texture because you're like pushing through the leaves. And then you would pull the paper off and that's your print.
Ah,
And then you'd pull all the paper or the leaves off and stuff, and then you can make another print off of that. So,
Okay.
but they're all individual mono prints.
I see.
And so I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do that with a puzzle. Like, let me just cut some white blank ones, and then, so I got this tiny little 3x5 gel pad. And so I was doing that, and it was like,
amazing.
I didn't have nearly enough time to sit there and play with it, because it does take some time to get some
Yeah.
good looking stuff.
I love to see how all the experimentation you do with the different art
I get bored
styles.
easily.
Like the cherry blossoms, I loved the how that turned out because it was glossy, like it was a ceramic plate almost. So I love the texture of it. Even though it
That's
was
the whole
You
watercolor.
also did like that crazy koi pond puzzle.
the
Oh, yeah.
concrete and the
Is
resin.
it displayed at the Strong?
I don't think I saw
I
it.
think I saw
Because
it.
Isabel said that she had hers showing,
The concept of that one.
and it
is
was the
just
same year.
mind blowing. Yeah, no, they had selections from different years.
Ah, yeah, that one's really mind blowing.
Because that was
Chaos
multi-layer.
void.
That was multi-layer too, right?
Yes.
Yes, it had like 13 layers or something. If like there was
I wanna
like
see
6
that
rings
one
of
day.
stones.
One day.
It's so
I need
Yeah,
to do that.
I brought it to Puzzle Jam last year.
oh.
Did I miss it?
I think I didn't bring it out till like Saturday or something, and then
Oh.
it was probably in a bag and like nobody saw it, so it was like,
Next time.
it's fine. I literally don't remember anything from Puzzle Jam, like anything. I'm sure you feel the same
Oh my
for
gosh.
the USA GPA stuff.
Nationals happened, and I'm like, I was there, I did a lot of work, but it was a blur. And I'm glad I took some pictures. Where like, oh right, that thing. I did meet this person.